Bulovinaka, good evening and namaste. I'm Vijay Narayan, you're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. Tonight we are at the government office in Parliament, out of our studio, but speaking to a very important person right now in Cabinet, the Deputy Prime Minister, Minister for Trade, Cooperatives, Small and Medium Enterprises and Communications, very important portfolios for our country as we try to bounce back as far as our economy is concerned, Mr. Manoa Kamikamica. Mr. Kamikamica, thank you very much for coming on the show to speak directly to our listeners and viewers tonight. And Mr. Kamikamica, starting with a very important question, you have been focusing a lot in the last 19 months on business, trade and investment in Fiji. How has it been?
Thank you, Vijay. I think the best word to describe what I have been trying to do in the last 19 months is actually just start rebuilding Fiji, really. And in doing that, there's about 5 key objectives that we focus on. One is economic diversification. Secondly is the continuing to encourage the SME cooperative movement to develop in Fiji. The third is ease of doing business, so how to make business easier. Fourth is digitization. To me, to unlock the potential in Fiji, government particularly has to digitize it, and digitize in a way that actually enhances efficiency, productivity. And finally, one of the things that we've realized as well is there's certain laws that are archaic, there's certain regulations that are probably not in sync with the fast-moving changes that are happening. So there's a bit of focus as well on that. And by that I mean you'd have seen us talk about a national food safety task force and those kind of things. Those are a response to things that we're seeing and then trying to react with them in terms of how to resolve them, which most likely will end up in change of laws. But just in terms of how have we gone, I think I'm very excited with what we've been doing so far. Let's take, just in terms of economic diversification. I always tell everybody when I when I finished university in the late 80s and came and started work in Fiji, we were talking about 2 things all the time at that time: economic diversification and ease of doing business. We are now in 2024 and we're still talking about economic diversification and ease of doing business. So one of the things that we have certainly endeavored to do within the trade area and the investment area is really try to see how we can broaden out the economic base of Fiji and do it genuinely. So, like this, some of the things that are evolving at the moment, which has been through a lot of hard work. On the trade front, we now have what's called the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, IPEF. That is a club of global countries. They represent 40% of GDP. Fiji is in that 40% of GDP as the small island states representative. We have been doing well in terms of negotiating, putting forward the views of the small island states. We are quite well respected in that club, and we're starting to see a lot of recognition in terms of that opportunity. So in that club you have America, Japan, South Korea, Singapore, the giants, India. And Fiji is in there negotiating and talking to them, so we're having direct lines of communication in. I think there'll be a lot of opportunities that are going to come from that IPEF or Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, because it actually is not only a trade agreement, it looks at investment opportunities in the green climate area, in normal, just business investments. It looks at the tax systems, it's called fair economy, so it's quite a broad-ranging agreement, and and certainly in terms of trade, it's helped us in our profile in other areas, like in the World Trade Organization. Fiji is quite well regarded as well. So so that's one big area that we've been focusing on. And that's quite working well. We are now been given an opportunity to pitch for investments in Fiji, and so hopefully over the next 6 months at least, we might be able to get some traction in some of the renewable energy projects that we're trying to drive in the country. That's just on the trade side. Also, we're re-exploring PESA Plus, which is the Australia-New Zealand Pacific Economic Agreement. Fiji's view is we'll only enter into it if it's good for Fiji. But as a new government, as a government that wants to work in the region, we've kind of said, okay, let's have another look at it, and then discuss our concerns with Australia, New Zealand. And then this is a personal one for me. I think that in the next few years, Fiji needs to start looking at Southeast Asia. The reason I say that is Southeast Asia has 750 million people. We've played mostly in New Zealand, Australia, which is about 40 million. So there are some other opportunities out there, and we're working through in terms of how do we leverage that. One of the options is for Fiji to join APEC. So that is already been discussed at a very high level. Hopefully if that comes through, that creates visibility for us in the Southeast Asia corridor. So that's just on the trade side. In terms of some of the other things that we managed to achieve, Google is now not only investing in Fiji, it's bringing 4 connections, subsea cables into Fiji. Before Google came to see us late last year, we only had 1 subsea cable. So in other words, if somebody cut that cable, Fiji would be like Tonga after the volcano, dead to the world. Maybe some satellite options, and now Starlink's here. But before that, it was like going to be total chaos. So, and what the Google connectivity brings is it brings a serious opportunity for Fiji to become a really genuine ICT player and become more of a regional hub for the Pacific. So, for example, the 4 connections are US, Hawaii, Fiji, and then there's a cable that runs from Fiji to Australia. There's a cable that's going to run from Australia to French Polynesia, Tahiti, then onward to South America, Chile, and then you're going to have another connection that runs from Fiji to Guam and then to Japan. So all of a sudden, Vijay, we've created through Google an opportunity to be quite resilient when it comes to data centers, when it comes to BPOs, which are a big is a growing sector in Fiji. We can actually start creating other industries. Like, for example, if Fiji wants to be a hub of cybersecurity around the world, we now have that capability because of the connectivity. So these are some of the exciting opportunities that are in that space. Google is also building a data center, $200 million green data center in Fiji. I can't say where exactly, but it's going to be definitely in Fiji. So that in itself is just some major development. And another thing I'd like to say, and this is probably part of the ease of doing business, Google went from talking to the Honorable Prime Minister to making the decision to invest and go in Fiji within 7 months. That's it in Google speak. That's unheard of in the world. So as Fiji is a small country, we can surely be fast if we give in the right circumstances. So Google's going around to the world saying our experience in Fiji is just top class. That has its own other opportunities. Now when we go to forums, like we had the North American Forum, the forum was opened by Google talking about their investment, and Fiji Water talking about their investment. What small country anywhere in the world do you have that kind of level of profile? And this has just happened over the last few months, 19 months. Fiji Water is now looking at commercial agriculture in Fiji. That they have been trying in the past, they have been unsuccessful. Took us less than 4 months to convince them to reconsider. And they've been coming to Fiji since. They now have teams coming into Fiji and examining what they want to do. They've identified some products. My hope, Vijay, is if we manage that opportunity well, it's going to be quite transformative in terms of a model for commercial agriculture, because you have a large, capable investor, experienced in agriculture, coming into the country. Then we can start looking at creating the connectivity down to the rural area. So, for example, if they want to do papaya, red papaya, which they're thinking of doing, and they say, okay, Nandronga, Nandi, maybe Pachamba, we want to grow papaya. We can go around to all the villages there, tell them to set up co-ops, and then they start planting and supplying that papaya. So what we do is we do something that's never happened in Fiji before, is remove the uncertainty of market, because you have the support of Fiji Water, and then they can help with the quality control, all that other stuff that's required. That's just on that, just on economic diversification. We are looking at medicinal cannabis, as you're aware. That's going quite well. I need to go back to cabinet soon, just with an update on where we're at. But right now, only things left is the legislation to be developed. But the other fun things that the cabinet wanted of us, they wanted us to do a feasibility study. That's been done. Everything's lining up there. The beauty about medicinal cannabis is not just medicinal cannabis. It opens up a market which I consider the nutraceutical market. So in other words, looking at research into other medicinal type of things in Fiji, all the medicines that we know of it.
About time.
Yeah, and just imagine if we could start commercializing some of that. That's another one. The other area, some other areas, there's so many, but one of the other ones that excites me is the audiovisual industry. Up till now, we've had an issue with rebates. In other words, the previous government had overcommitted in terms of what money they were paying for productions to happen in Fiji. We've sort of managed that and starting to pay them off. So we've managed to re-establish the confidence between these production companies, the unscripted reality shows, and Fiji. And so we now have even one player that's actually taken over the anchorage for 2 years, refitted the whole anchorage, and it's now a Love Island site and they're doing 3 productions in a year. So in other words, if we can create a permanent basis for a couple of these companies, they can bring 3, 4, 5 shows in a year. So you make, instead of making just 30 million from one show, you make 150 million from 5 shows. So that's where we headed with that. So like on the diversification side, we've been doing quite a bit. Looking at the Kava bill. Kava is going to be $1 billion industry in Fiji, if not already, in terms of export. At the moment, a lot of the consumption is domestic, but we need to supply the external market. So that's going well as well. Working very closely with the Minister of Agriculture. So that's going quite well. On the SME cooperative side, I mean, now it's quite topical in the country. People know that this government is serious about developing the micro, medium, and small enterprises. We do have targeted assistance. There's about 120 million now in the budget through various areas that are supporting MSMEs and cooperatives. So that's going quite well in my view. What I want to ultimately do with MSMEs and cooperatives is create what I call a MSME ecosystem. So in other words, even at school level, we start training our kids from school level with entrepreneurial flair. So, so in other words, the kids kind of grow up and they already have the desire to dabble in business. And there's so much creativity with our people. There's so much capability. For example, there's a couple at the moment that are doing software design. They're called Traceable Solutions. They're so good, they already marketed their product in Seychelles. Apart from supplying the solutions to the Fiji government, they're already in the Seychelles as well. They're called Traceable Solutions. So that's the type of potential that I'm seeing in that area. And so, the strategy by the government to put more will, obviously create more employment. On ease of doing business, we at the moment we have two big projects. One is called the Starting Up a Business Project, which is the automation of company creation. Second is called the Business Permit Approval. These two processes were identified by the World Bank as a big sort of negatives when it came to ease of doing businesses. So that's why we're focusing on those two areas. With building permit approval particularly, which is going to happen next year, if we get that right, I reckon it'll take out a major portion of the difficulties with business in Fiji. Because right now, Vijay, if you ever want to do a big development, you have to photocopy forms that come up probably to here from the floor, and then you need to take them around to all the agencies to get them processed. That will be a thing of the past. You load the documents once, all the agencies that are involved in the process start accessing the documents and then processing them. And you as the applicant have total visibility on what's happening there. So that's on ease of doing business. On the digitization side, like I said, it's for us, for Fiji to unlock its potential, digitization is one key area. We've developed a national digital plan for Fiji right now. So that should be approved in the next couple of months. We've consulted widely on that. That will give us a playbook to actually try and automate the rest of government. If we are able to do that, it creates efficiencies, it reduces, it makes things more transparent. People can't hide behind their desks anymore, because people will know if the process is being delayed. So these are some of the things that we're sort of targeting on digitization. And of course, in terms of standards, I mentioned the food safety task force is one area that we're looking at. Fiji's been getting a lot of inferior product into the country. And so what we've tried to do is engage with all the stakeholders, Ministry of Health, Biosecurity, FCCC, Consumer Council, and we've been going out and they've been doing investigations and checking. Some people are being pulled up for bad behavior. And ultimately what we try and do then is change the legislation to actually improve things. So I think overall, Vijay, we've been very, very busy trying to do a lot. It's all part of trying to position the country. So from my perspective, if you ask me, Fiji is just at the edge of some big basic things to happen. For example, at the moment there's about a $6 billion pipeline of investment, both foreign and domestic. $2 billion of that will probably start in the next 6 months. If that happens, we go into next year and we should be on an upward trajectory. So, overall, how have we been doing? I personally think we've done a lot. And there's still a lot more to do. But I think if we continue to focus on the right things and prioritize, the country, the slowdown that's currently being reported by Reserve Bank, we should start to see a turn very soon.
That's an interesting scenario. You've painted the picture of the 19 months. A lot has been done,
yes.
And you can start to see the fruit of it, yes. Even in the budget address, yes. And what's coming up, and $6 billion in the pipeline.
Yes.
And we hope, fingers crossed, all of them come through. In terms of successes, we can see that.
Yes.
You've talked a bit about agriculture and wonderful company which owns Fiji Water. What a project they will be bringing in. We have been talking for years about commercial agriculture.
Yes.
How do you see this developing? Because during COVID, one big issue that we saw, all our eggs almost in one basket, tourism, and we are not saying tourism is not good, it's about diversification.
Yeah.
You believe you have unlocked that potential by doing this?
Yeah, no, it's just at the start, and the great thing about companies like the wonderful company, they're already in agriculture, so they know exactly what needs to be done. They're talking billions in their countries. They're coming to Fiji to just try and unlock some of the potential. It's very exciting because on the back of that, actually, Vijay, there's another 2 big companies lined up. One is based in Papua New Guinea, it's an Israeli company. There's another company that's based here, I can't announce because I'm sure they want to announce themselves. But we've already had a presentation for them saying that they have expertise in agriculture in their own country, and they want to bring that here and try and look at some.
What type of agriculture?
They're looking at pineapple, maybe cocoa, vanilla, that kind of thing. So again, high-end product, which if we position ourselves well, can sell quite lucratively, and you can really, through the cooperative models, drive it down to the rural.
Availability of land, Deputy Prime Minister, is an issue, has always been an issue. If we have the landowners buy in, we see a lot of idle land. And if we can get that going, do you believe that we are close to that now?
Yeah, and I mean, if you talk to the landowners, a lot of them just want good return on their land. And, so this is an opportunity to generate the return themselves. And so I'm optimistic that the land issues, in my view, this needs a proper discussion.
No fear of people losing their land?
No, absolutely not. Yeah, so I think even like just in when I've been interacting, there's a sort of a heightened level of desire and enthusiasm around unlocking the potential of the resource owners. So that comes in a couple of ways. You either develop your land for land development, or look at commercial agricultural opportunity. And if you have an offering that says you produce your whatever 20 acres of pawpaw, let's for example, I'm going to come and pick it up and buy it off you. That is a totally different.
It's a ready market.
Yeah. You see, like one of the challenges in Fiji is sugar is very organized. The rest of the non-sugar industry is really bordering. It's in the subsistence side. We need to commercialize the non-sugar sectors, and so that's one of the big things we're trying to do. So get in the right type of investor, match them up with the agricultural opportunity, and then try and develop the commercial opportunity.
For medicinal cannabis, when do you see, I know all the initial work is underway, when do we see things start to happen?
Yeah, so we just need to get the legislation up and going. So I'm pretty sure we'll have to go back to cabinet to get clearance on the legislation. But once that happens, we've already lined up the people that are going to support the development of the legislation. So hopefully by end of the year we have the legislation done. There's obviously going to be another round of consultation when that legislation comes to Parliament. But hopefully towards the end of the year, we actually have the laws done. If that's done, that's within less than 2 years of government, we've created a totally new industry, and then we just go from there. So at the moment, I'm reasonably confident, put it that way, that we'll be able to achieve that.
In terms of challenges, including issues with execution by the civil service and bureaucracies, you touched on a few issues, and these are issues that have been there for quite some time without being fully addressed. Do you believe that you have the solutions and you are working on it to ensure that we get a good, effective and efficient civil service? Yeah,
and I mean, certainly I know that the Honourable Prime Minister and his Permanent Secretary, Pramesh, are looking at various ways to strengthen the civil service. So there is a institute for civil service being introduced, like as a center of excellence, so that people can get the right type of training. That's a great initiative. We've had a lot of change in terms of manpower on the ground. So all of us, all ministries are sending our guys for retraining, that kind of thing. So the knowledge level will get stronger. It's fair to say that, and I mean, I say this with no disrespect to the civil service at all, like they've been living under a different kind of management system, right?
Where they were hardly making any decisions.
Can't speak up, don't make a decision. And so this new government is speak up if you're concerned, make a decision. If it goes wrong, then come and talk to me, we can talk about it. So like empowering all our people to do what they're capable of doing. And so if that happens, you will, the civil service culture in the way it's currently developing, it'll flourish. And so, I mean, to be fair, from the learnings from the last 12 months, certainly, or 18 months, if you like, the need to sort of execute on budgetary allocations, those kind of things, we found was a bit of a challenge for all the ministries. And 1 year of learning, we are now into our second year. We're a lot more attuned and know what to do. And so and part of it, there was only one minister that had already been in government, and that's the Prime Minister. The rest of us were all very new to government. So it's a bit of learning there as well. So certainly going forward, we're all very focused and excited on what we're going to do.
Certainty is key to more confidence in investments, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
You are part of the committee for the coalition partners.
Yeah.
The coalition government has been in power from December 24th, 2022. There have been some disagreements. Mm-hmm. Do some uncertainties remain, or these have been ironed out now?
Yeah. Look, I mean, all I can say, Vijay, is I think social media maybe overplays the perception, and people buy into it. Like certainly from my perspective, the relationship's been quite solid. I mean, I personally have had very good working relationships with two fellow deputy prime ministers. Maybe partly because we all knew each other before we got into this arrangement, but certainly at the working level in cabinet, I've never seen such a group of professional men, sort of trying to do the right thing for Fiji, and that's quite, for me, it's quite comforting to see. Led by the Honourable Prime Minister, and we all working together. We always have concerns like any arrangement or any union or any, but those are resolved just like any other thing. So like from my honest perspective, it hasn't been like that. The relationship's been pretty solid in my view. Notwithstanding the perceptions and the suggestions, there's been a long time suggestion that I've been trying to usurp the Prime Minister.
Yeah, nonsense. You're the bad boy trying to take over the Prime Minister. Is there any truth to that? Or?
No, absolutely not. I mean, the whole party is sort of very full support of the Honourable Prime Minister.
So do you believe that detectors are doing that to try to break up your unity?
I have no idea. Good luck to them what they're trying to do. All I can say is, barking up the wrong tree is, honestly, Vijay, I think that this is something that I don't think some people appreciate it, or maybe some do. This country needs stability, like you pointed out, and little political meanderings here and there is of no use to the current situation. What our country needs. Our country needs leaders who are focused, that are hardworking, that go home every day and are happy that they've done their bit for their country. Like the ambitions around leadership and whatever, that's, maybe some people might be fixated in that. For me at the moment, there's so much work to be done. That's where the focus should be. And 2026, then little time for politics. But right now, everybody's focused.
Teething problems with Sodelpa, no doubt, in the first few months. Demands going back and forth, a bit of miscommunication, it was agreed. The MP's pay rise issue caused a bit of a stir, where everyone in the coalition did not see things the same way. And of course, the members of the public, the unions said, you need to do better when you come in. We expect better. What are your comments to those who are watching this?
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately, I think with these things you kind of look at it in terms of what's the outcome, the reason, one of the main reasons I supported the pay rise was really for our MPs. Don't forget, Vijay, the way the remuneration structure was done in the past was really to actually ensure that the MP, the opposition was in so much financial discomfort that you'd really not get much desire from people to join politics. I know for a fact one very senior politician, he was being supported by his sons from offshore. You can't have that in a democratic society. You need to have people resourced the right way. So that was certainly one of the motivating factors to get the readjustments. And so that's been done. Yes, and there was some disagreement at the caucus level. We sort of allowed people were allowed to vote the way they wanted to vote. All of us in the People's Alliance voted and supported the Prime Minister. We did that because, again, we wanted to make sure that stability in the country was always paramount. And what's the result? Basically, the Fiji First is now dysfunctional. So now, what was probably an impossibility, which was the constitutional review, is now a very real possibility. So, whatever remuneration everybody got, I'm sure, everybody's going to work hard, extra hard to actually prove that they're worth whatever amounts that they got.
Work hard for the people of the country.
Yes, of course, yeah.
You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. We'll be back after this break.
Oh my gosh! Oh, what's in the box?
You're probably wondering, what's in the box? Well, if you must know, it's actually me. Before you call the police, I'm actually an app. The all-new Fiji Village app. Here's an update. See what I did there? I gave you an update. What's new? Well, for starters, I look different. My new layout also comes with stories if you're looking for something short and sweet. I will bring you the latest news on the dot so you stay updated. You're welcome. You don't have to go anywhere for content because I bring the content to you. Not only can you listen to your favorite radio stations, you can also watch online video content. Which reminds me, do you love sports? Well, guess what? With the Fiji Village app, you can stay up to date with your favorite sports and scoreboards, no matter where you are. Your #1 news website just got better with an app. Download and get updated now.
Breakfast with Budana Penny and Tifa. Good yanders.
It's 21 past 7 and it's Turned Up Tuesday. Turn up.
Good yanders, let's go. Hey! Hi! We just wanted to take this moment to say a big binakawakalibu
For making us the #1 radio station in Fiji.
Your sport means the world to us.
Thank you for listening in day after day.
I like listening to Breakfast on FM 96. I love all the songs that they play, and FM 96 is one of them.
We love FM 96.
FM 96.
Our number one.
One thing that draws me to FM 96 is that the content is relatable. They do play all the music that I love.
Part of FM 96 is listening to Penny the Pensaris. And they make fun about my forehead because it sings better than Digitization.
And you have made us a part of your daily routine.
And we couldn't be more grateful.
Thank you for making us number one in Fiji!
That sounds right. Okay, I got it. If I could turn back time, if I could find a way.
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. Sick and tired of hearing all these people talk about what's the deal with this pop life and when is it gonna fade out?
The sun is fading away.
If I could reach the stars,
bum, 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 bum. I don't know the rest of the words.
I'd give them all to you.
As the June light turns to moonlight.
La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la la la. Loving you is all I ever need. Making love with you is all good.
I take back those words that hurt you, and you'd stay.
Welcome back. You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. Our guest tonight, the Deputy Prime Minister, Manoa Kamikamica. Mr. Kamikamica, what is the type of work going into getting more people to get into small, medium and micro enterprises?
Yes, thank you, Vijay. Certainly in terms of government, we've been quite active in terms of trying to encourage small to medium enterprise participation. So, for example, this year, for the first year, we had a MSME conference. It was held in Suva. I'm sure if it was held in a playground somewhere, we'd be able to fill it up. But because of constraints and because you're dealing with presentations, that was a good way to start the year in terms of creating awareness around MSMEs. Yesterday I attended the National MSME Awards for the FDB. So all the banks are doing their bit in terms of MSME development. Vision Group, they're a big player now in terms of trying to assist MSMEs. So it's about just getting the word out and then trying to communicate all of the types of assistance that we have. We have grants for small micro businesses, about $500 to $1,000. And then we have the large chunkier grants that are good for cooperatives and small business that want to evolve into other things. One of the things someone mentioned to me, one of our staff mentioned to me, is all the awardees last night at the MSME were assisted through the ministries. Part of it through our time, but as well before. So the strategy of creating more business opportunities, it appears to be working well, and we'll just continue to work on that. And I think we're on the right track. It's about 18% of GDP, the whole MSME small business area. I've kind of told our team if we can raise it to 30% in 10 years. That'll be a very good thing to do in terms of economic growth.
It's interesting, Deputy Prime Minister, you said about taking it from the school system. Do we expect something in the curriculum that sort of fires up that business skills for our young generation?
Yeah, so we've been sort of looking around at tools to use, and we've now stumbled on a few good options for for consideration at schools. Like there's Canada, for instance, they actually have tablets and they have games, business games on them, and so you play, how to create a business, how to start marketing your business. That's all done on a tablet, which is quite exciting. So you don't know how you earn money, make money, all that kind of practical stuff. So and the hope is to, at the very least, have people at secondary school level starting to get that flavor of entrepreneurial.
Hopefully that will be part of the education curriculum review and change.
Correct, that will be brought through that channel. Yeah.
What is being done to ensure the sustainability of businesses? So there's been a lot of cases where the small businesses, micro enterprises start up, and when they want to progress further, or when they hit some struggles, what is available for them? Because it seems like in Fiji that's been an issue too. The startups are well assisted, but it's about sustainability.
Yeah. So what we've tried to do, again, it's about that ecosystem that I was talking about. So what we are trying to do is actually handhold people through the various stages of business that they're at. Right now, apart from government's own hand-holding processes, which involves, for example, generally when a grant's given, we get everyone trained first. Either as a cooperative, as a small business, or even as an individual operator. So that's to sort of make sure that when they get given the grant, they understand how to conduct, how to do business effectively. That's one opportunity. On top of that, Business Assistance Fiji, which is another co-funded agency between us and the government of New Zealand, and FSEF. They actually look at helping businesses have websites, marketing strategies, all the other things that a small business might need. So that's some of the things that the government does. And then there's other business incubators, if you like, that are going around, that are now in existence. There's some run by UNDP, there's some run by BSP Bank, Westpac and ANZ have their own financial literacy programs for small business as well as individuals. So these are the type of weapons, if you like, that are now available for people to actually, the small to medium businesses to use it. We had a open day in this year's open day. We went and did it in Namosi, at the school in Namosi, right in the hinterlands of Namosi, and the ANZ came in, Westpac came, and also our government team, and we did training for about a couple of thousand people with entrepreneurial interest. So this is the type of things that are being done to try and support business, and we do it's not only the Ministry for Trade that's actively involved. Agriculture have their own team that does small to medium business training, rural development as well. So there's a few agencies that are now involved in, Tourism Fiji just got $500,000 just now. So they'll be using that for backpacker tourism, that kind of area. So so it's there is a lot of support on the ground. The reason why I said that I'm trying to build an ecosystem is I'm hopeful we can get to a stage where we can see all the players that are in the SME ecosystem, and then make sure we place them in the right area so that we can
continue to support. So if anybody is watching tonight, either they want to start their business or if they want to become more sustainable and continue to grow, is there any place that they can go to get that immediate advice and assistance, and what would be those places?
I mean, I can talk confidently about the Ministry of Trade and cooperatives. There's always advisors there to to sort of just listen first and then try and provide a way to articulate the opportunity and then what steps need to be taken. And sometimes it's down to creating your cooperative or your company, and then understanding what you want to do, and then develop a little business plan around it. Those kind of things. So those tools are available in the ministry.
Outsourcing services, the BPO sector. I know you are always watching this carefully.
Yes.
The Reserve Bank has said it's expected to grow in the next few years. So what do we expect in this sector?
Yeah, so right now I think from the last report from the BPO Executive Director for Outsource Fiji, which is the body that oversees all the BPOs, we have at 8,000 employees. And it's generating about 200, according to Reserve Bank, it's generating 200 million in terms of foreign exchange. So it is a growing area of business. BPOs, or business process outsourcing, was always seen as just call centers, but it's more than that now. Now we have what people call KPOs and IPOs, which is information process outsourcing, and also knowledge process outsourcing. So knowledge process outsourcing is accounting services, legal services, engineering services, psychiatric services. Those are already available in Fiji right now amongst the BPOs. So it's a great way if you a young person come out of sixth form, not sure what you want to do. Like the BPO is a really good space to get your hands into working, because you actually start working for offshore customers. So you're really in the international market, but based in Fiji. So it's a great opportunity to learn, the skills at that level, and then it sets them up well for other jobs they may want to go to. I've been hearing stories now about KPOs. And like some of the work that's being done now by our people, I'm told there's a young engineer in Fiji that out of university, very good capabilities, assessed by an international engineering company, and so straight out of university, apparently he's earning 75,000, doing work in Fiji, working for the guys in Australia. So that's the type of potential that we have. If you want to extend that a bit more, to talk a bit about ICT and what Google will bring, we're kind of thinking about what if we turn Fiji, say, into a cybersecurity hub, for example. So we'd start training up our own young people here. Right now, there's a vacancy of about 4.5 million cybersecurity analysts globally. Right? This is like startup university cybersecurity analyst. The starting salary for a cybersecurity analyst is 40 to 50,000 US. So just imagine if we were able to bring that opportunity to Fiji. You're probably not going to pay 40 to 50,000 US, but even let's say if you get half of that as a young graduate, what an absolutely wonderful opportunity. So like these are the types of things that the BPO and the overlay of the Google connectivity can bring to Fiji, and we are trying to work through the stages of trying to get there.
Skilled labor shortage.
Yes.
That seems to be an issue with the migration that took place. We're seeing the number at about around 80,000. You definitely have been hearing also from employers that they need people to come in, foreign workers to come in to fill that vacuum, and also the upskilling that's required in country here so that people can take up jobs. What is being done about this?
Thank you, Vijay. I think we all agree, and the government's not going to hide behind the fact that we are having some challenges in immigration. But one of the great things about this particular government is it listens and then it starts trying to do things to sort it out. So right now we've got a committee that includes some private sector volunteers, and also the Deputy Prime Minister for Finance, myself, and Honorable Tigundondo, all working together to try and resolve the immigration issues. We have been able to get resourcing back into the immigration department, which was an issue. We're now starting to see that things are getting resolved a bit faster. So hopefully I'm certainly giving myself to the end of the year to ensure that we resolve the immigration issues. There's actually a information system going in currently about to be installed. That will take the load off in terms of accepting of applications. It will be online. The payments will be online, and then tracking will actually be easier in terms of the issuance of work permits and other permits. So, if that happens, then I am very hopeful that we'll resolve the bulk of the immigration issues. And of course, Vijay, we're able to sort those bottlenecks out. Then the speed at which we can bring sort of workers in will be greatly improved. One of the things that we through this process of stepping through this review for immigration, there's now what is called a qualified persons list. So if you're a good company, paying taxes, doing all the right things, you get regarded as a qualified company, and the process of review is faster. It gets put into a special escalated queue. So that's good for a lot of our large employers in Fiji. So these are the types of initiatives that are currently being undertaken. I can assure the people of Fiji we are putting a lot of focus in getting the immigration issues right. And if we get that right, this upsurge that I'm talking about, Vijay, will not only be a theoretical thing, it will probably be closer to reality. Yeah.
Now, issue in relation to some unscrupulous traders, and this is connected to cost of living. FCCC has said you've had a lot of discussions on this to work on surveys and investigations. We had the FCCC CEO in studio on Straight Talk as well, talking about a whole lot of investigations, inquiries and the way. What is your objective and timelines? Because there's a lot of people who have been asking for this, and definitely you have made an assessment and spoken to FCCC on what they should be doing.
Yeah, so it's fair to say the level of scrutiny of unscrupulous behavior has been heightened over the last, certainly the last 6 months. We've had collaboration going on between the local government, which have their own inspectors, health, that has their inspectors. There's also FCCC and Consumer Council inspectors. So we've tried to start looking at all companies. There's instances in Parliament. I talked about a lot of some of the bad behavior, like expired product being brought in, labels being scrubbed and new dates being put on the labels. So we're starting to sort of hone in on those perpetrators, and then we are trying to deal with them on the ground. So I haven't. The CEO's been away last week or so. So I'm bound to have a catch up with him to sort of see how far we can continue to go down this road. In terms of oversight. The other thing that I think from a cost of living perspective certainly is having a look at some of the areas that are not controlled at the moment, and making assessments on whether some other product needs to be brought under price control. So that's another exercise as well that's being done by FCCC. I'm keen to get that done, so that we can see how we can bring down or at least control the escalation in costs where we can.
You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. We'll be back after this break.
क्या आप भी परेशान हैं? क्या आपकी भी लाइफ में ऐसी ही टेंशन है? आपकी परेशानी को कम करने के लिए आ रहा हूं मैं बहुत ही जल्द आपको हंसाने के लिए। रेडियो सरगम और रेडियो सरगम फेसबुक पेज पर बहुत ही जल्द वहीं पर मिलेंगे। हेलो, अरे यार,
आप देख रहे हैं इसी संडास जो हमारे सुपरस्टार प्रश अभी आकर इस्तेमाल करेगा किसी वक्त। अभी लो आ गया सुपरस्टार प्रश।
Not following me
सर
again.
सर सर जनता जानना चाहते हैं सर अगर जनता जानना चाहते हैं सर अगर रूमर्स ट्रू सर। होपफुली बाय सर। एक सर अब देख रहे हैं डॉक्टर के स्टूडियो में हम बन चुके हैं। जेसिका जी, जेसिका जनता जानना चाहते हैं। जेसिका जनता जानना चाहते हैं कि आप कौन सी मेकअप लगाते हैं?
आज मैंने तो कोई मेकअप नहीं लगाया।
लगता है लगा ले।
How dare you, GEA!
तो आप देख रहे हैं यहाँ एसेंट का गाड़ी पड़ा है। काफी गर्जी है लेकिन एसेंट साहब, एसेंट सर अमेरिका से आए हुए हैं सर। अमेरिका का जनता जानना चाहते हैं सर आप हमेशा काला चश्मा क्यों पहनते हैं सर?
तो सफेद चश्मा कहाँ मिली? सफेद चश्मा देखा कहीं तुम?
तुकता क्या को है?
Demis, sa mama na lima? Ebe kenapa? Gol.
You're watching Fiji Village Straight Talk. I'm Vijay Narayan. We are here at the Government Caucus office in Parliament, having our special Fiji Village Straight Talk outside of the studio. Our guest tonight is the Deputy Prime Minister Manoa Kamikamica. Let's talk about scams. There have been quite a few, and it's kept you busy. The scam where the eBay reached millions of dollars, and of course people trying to beat the system. Mobile money transfer apps were being used and to stay within limits, and then of course the money has gone and a lot of people lost out on money. And we have some people still trying to scam, not through just using the platform, but knowing that the mobile money literacy or digital money literacy in the country is limited for a certain amount of the population. What are we doing with this in terms of our laws and to ensure we do not continue to have this?
Thank you, Vijay. One of the things I get teased a lot in Parliament is I create a lot of task forces. So some of the opposition calls me the Minister for Task Forces. But when eBay happened, we created a national task force for scamming. And it's probably really good because we brought in all the stakeholders to start working together and talking, and actually trying to identify the issues. We involved even Digitization and Vodafone in that task force, the police. From the eBay scam, I've been told of the amounts involved, but it's quite staggering. When the amounts come out, the amount that was circulating through eBay, because of eBay, it is quite a significant amount. It's in the millions. So what we did from the task force was then try and start working together on addressing scams and making the public aware of scamming. Right now, I'm glad you asked the question, because from the 26th to the 30th of August this month will be National Scam Awareness Week. First time it's been held in Fiji. It's funded through some of the UN agencies and government as well. And it's our first endeavor to really try and bring the whole scamming issue to light at a national level. We're doing it at the back of the first week of school holiday, so that all our children will be not focused on school, and so we can get them involved in actually creating awareness. Beyond that, Vijay, the main, almost like the food safety task force, it's all about looking at the legislation and actually trying to create more teeth with the legislation. So part of this assistance that's coming through the UN agencies is a review of all the legislation, which we were wanting to do anyway, but now we have the funding to actually get it done. So, hopefully we can actually create teeth with the legislation. For example, if a scam is happening and you're seeing it as a regulator, you can't do anything until you get a complaint.
That's what happened during the eBay scam.
Correct, yeah. So, even Reserve Bank can't do anything. So until the report came, the eBay was quite pervasive. It caught a lot of people, not only the vulnerable, but a lot of our big people too got caught in that scam. And when somebody asked if I had gotten caught in the scam, which I hadn't, but that brought to light the weakness in the laws and the need to really relook at those laws. So now we have the opportunity to genuinely look at the laws. So I'm hoping towards the end of the year we would have found what pieces of legislation needs to change, and then we actually bring that forward to Cabinet and then to Parliament to get that done, because we'll be able to shut down a lot of the scamming activity. My preference is setting up a separate agency for scams. That's what's happened in other jurisdictions, because it's such a, I talked about digitization, Vijay. The more digitization you overlay, the more vulnerability people will have in terms of scams. So it's a very active area. So we I feel doing quite a bit now in terms of creating visibility. Because we are working in a task force, the police actually have now arrested a few people that have been doing scams. I understand that 3 have been taken to court and then are pending sentences, I think. So, that's quite positive in terms of, with these sort of, crimes and bad behaviors. The only way you'll create disincentive or discouragement you always talk about the hot stove concept. Until you touch the hot stove, you won't, or if you experience the hot stove, you won't. So if the laws are hot as a stove and are able to create punitive measures, then that's the direction that we need to take the laws in. Right now, I don't feel that they're there. And once they get there, we can actually strengthen the whole regulations around scams and cyber crime. Yeah.
In terms of eBay, do we expect charges to be laid against people?
I know it's still with the police. I haven't actually heard any advice around eBay, but I'd imagine they'd be sort of looking at, I think these, I might be wrong, but these 3 cases that they prosecuted could possibly be linked back to eBay. I can't say for certain, but I can find that out.
Walesi is another one. Millions went into Walesi.
Yes, 128 million.
128 million. And the issue is that the way it started, the way the amount of money that was budgeted, there's a lot of questions arising whether it was needed and at what place. A lot of people are saying that it is now in place, the network is there. Of course the network is there. There's questions about if you put everyone on Walesi, then the dangers that exist with as far as risks are concerned, with environmental risks, because of we expected to have more cyclones and they expected to be stronger, and if there is no mitigation plan in place, we fail. And this is something that has we continually asked the former Attorney General who was pushing for this. You are waiting for that Walesi investigation report. What can you tell us?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Vijay. As I've mentioned on a few public forums, hopefully by end of this month I'll get 2 reports. I've received one already, which is the technical evaluation of the Walesi saga. And there's also a financial report done by the Auditor General's office. So hopefully once both of them come, then I've already provided the technical report to the Walesi board. Then I've already looked at it and already doing some remedial work. Once the financial report comes, we'll do the same thing. But at the same time, I'll table it in cabinet. If there's any things that look of concern, particularly FICAC related, we will then progress to FICAC after the board approval, and then I will probably just make a brief statement in Parliament just to wrap it up. But obviously I don't want to preempt the findings, but certainly if there's any irregularities found in the Walesi reports, people are going to be brought to account. And that's probably the best I can say right now. But it's just taken a while to set it all up because because we when we were doing the initial decision making around how to go about the investigations, we quickly worked out that there was a technical component and a financial component, so we went down the route of getting the ITU, the International Telecommunications Union, to look at the technical component, and then you got Auditor General to look at the financial component. It's probably not progressed as fast as I would have liked, but we are close to the end, and then we'll table the reports to.
We definitely will be looking forward to it, Deputy Prime Minister.
Thank you.
Grace Road is another investigation. It was talked about what's going on. Of course, there was a certain aspect of it. It is before the courts. But my question is, because if you look at it from the investment point of view, one is the church aspect, the other one is the business aspect. And of course, if there's an organization where there's some wrongdoing that's happened, then the leader of Grace Road Church is currently serving time in prison for what she has done. My question is in terms of the business itself. Whether the Fiji government at this point in time is still investigating the business aspect.
My standard answer to that question, Vijay, is that because it's the matters before the courts, I've just suggested that take its course, and then if there's any requirement to make any comments post any decision, then that's the point. That's the point at which to.
I ask you because it seems like there's no investigation. No longer an investigation.
Like I said, I can't really make comments because of the court process.
How about Vatis? The investigation about Vatis. It was earlier said that there will be an investigation done. And this was the PR firm that came out of these individuals who were part of the campaign team of Fiji First, and went on to form Vatis, which was handling several PR related activities, and they were to be under investigation. The Prime Minister had announced that. What is happening with that?
Yeah, I mean the Vatis comes under the Department of Information, so it'll probably be best to get download from the Department of Information to actually sort of give you a bit of clarity. And I'm not visible to what's happening with that one. Yeah.
Audit reports is another concern. Your background is finance.
Yes.
You have said in Parliament last week in relation to some of the reports, how they looked like before under the previous government, and looked quite rosy, and now you're seeing what you say is the real picture. If you can talk about that.
Sure. Yeah, I was actually mentioning the reports from the committees in relation to sugar. There was barely a critique of the sugar industry in the previous sugar reports. But the sad thing is the sugar industry has been underperforming for, according to Honorable Premila Kumar, 20 years, based on her comments in Parliament. So it's a major concern, and I hope the people of Fiji will start working out that this is a government that actually is trying to do create solutions for the country. And so right now, for sugar, for example, if you look at any matrix for the sugar industry, you look at the tonnage that was being produced, it hasn't moved much over the last at least 10 years from the financial reports I've seen. Everybody talks about it being 2.5 million tons. That's what we're supposed to produce in terms of sugar cane, raw sugar. It's hardly past the 1.8 million tons. So, and on top of that, the aging equipment, you look at the financial statements for sugar, for FSC particularly, and some of the other organizations within the sugar structure, and they're not, they don't look that healthy. That was always hidden from public view. But now, in the new parliament now, where everybody has the ability to talk freely, including the opposition, they're openly admitting that sugar is a problem. So what the government is doing is we have commissioned a FAO Food and Agricultural Organization report that's hopefully going to come out in the next couple of months. That will actually flush out the issues with sugar, and then hopefully we can use that report, maybe work even with the opposition, to develop strategies around what's going to happen to the sugar sector. And to your point about financial reporting, even beyond sugar, there's other government agencies that are way behind in terms of their audit reports, and they're just trying to catch up. And when you have delayed financial reports, generally they'll be symptomatic of other things in the business. Possibly breakdown in controls, financial controls, so it's hard for them to get the information. Sometimes it leads in abuse and that kind of thing. So one of the things the government's trying to encourage is all the agencies to start, including ministries, to start producing their accounts on a regular basis. Financial year ends, in 6 months, done. Move on. So these are the types of things that are very important to this government. Honorable Biman Prasad tabled the Fiji Airways financial report in Parliament for the first time. So that's the first time in history we're going to see the financials for Fiji Airways. I mean, they're operating profitably now, and but again, I truly hope that as we're now into going on to our second year almost. But if there's anything that the government of Fiji, the people of Fiji will see, they'll see a government that's actually progressively actioning everything that it undertook to do, and we can actually in that way build confidence in the country and get people to believe in Fiji. Based on the rosy picture I painted in the front end of our interview, and believe that this is a country worth fighting for and working for. Yeah.
My final question is in relation to the Constitution review. Last Friday, the former Fiji First, former Army Commander and independent MP, opposition MP, William Poto, said there is a need to review the Constitution and it needs to be done before we have a truth and reconciliation process. Said that we do not want to see the perception that this constitution, the current constitution, is only supported by one party, that it needs to go back to the people, review. There's some good things in the constitution and some bad things which needs to be reviewed, as he said. The Prime Minister has backed that. You as the Deputy Prime Minister, this process is now on the move as far as the review is concerned?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Prime Minister says it, we are certainly full support of it. It makes sense, Vijay. I mean, this constitution was just the imposition of two individuals. Let's face it. And so there's an opportunity now to make people own the constitution. And so, yes, there'll have to be discussions around what things we need to amend. There'll be a discussion, with the people of Fiji in terms of what they'd like to amend. And we'll try and find a way to get it done. But certainly, reflecting on how the journey's been. Honestly, I never thought we'd be able to even have an opportunity to look at the constitution in this term because of the numbers. And because of what's happened, we now have a genuine opportunity to change the constitution, or certainly amend components that are of concern. And something that the Professor Regan that came and spoke, it sticks at the back of my mind. He said, if you want to leave it, you can never guarantee that you'll have this opportunity ever again. It's almost like we've been presented with this opportunity. It's don't pass it up. When he just says, don't forget, when you started your government, you got in through the skin of your teeth by one vote, and now all of a sudden you've got this great opportunity. And to me, that's quite a prophetic statement in terms of what to do. And we fully in support of the Honourable Prime Minister. He made statements today, and we'll certainly roll our sleeves up and do what we need to do to change what we can change, because it'll ultimately be a negotiation between all parties.
Because you have that big amendment provision that needs to be
relooked at. That's something that will have to be looked at. So, but Fiji should be happy that we're actually at a point where we can actually genuinely change a constitution which we all agree was undemocratic. The courts even have made utterances that there was no consultation. So sometimes God creates the timing for you, Vijay. And I have a strong feeling that this is the time to do it, and totally in support with the Honourable Prime Minister. And I'll certainly do what I need to do to make sure we help get this going.
That's the Deputy Prime Minister, Manoa Kamikamica, talking about what he's been doing for the past 19 months, a lot, and in terms of his portfolios, which stretch out from trade, cooperatives, small and medium enterprises, and communications. And of course, he's also part of the committee representing the People's Alliance for the coalition partners as far as their ongoing discussions are concerned. So a lot has been discussed tonight. We'd like to thank you, Deputy Prime Minister, for coming on the show. Until next week, have a great evening.